Everyone, I am Bets Golden. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about gelatos, and there's a lot that you can do with a gelato. They have a ton of colors. This is my collection, and I don't even have all of them. They have a whole bunch of different kinds of formulations. Like, for example, they have some that are just really highly pigmented and vibrant, and then they have some that are metallic, and the metallic ones I know go on like really smooth, and they tend to blend really nicely with water. But today I thought that we would create a tag in which we show 5 different ways in which you can use a gelato, and so for each way I'm going to use on the tag to create this tag. That was a lot of tags in one sentence. Anyway, all right, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd like to encourage you to take this moment to do so. Hit that notification bell so you can get, obviously, notifications when I have a new video coming out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I really do always try to get back to you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and sharing is caring. It helps me. All right, so the first thing that you can do with a gelato is you can actually do direct paper, gelato to paper. And I'm going to be using some limoncello for this particular method, and I'm just going to color this in some spots like so. And then I'm also going to take some mango and put that down as well. And then I'm going to put in some of the orange soda. Like so. All right, so that's the first technique, is just direct gelato to paper, and then you're good. Second technique is you actually can take your finger and you can actually smudge this out. And do you see how those colors start to blend? So you can smudge the whole thing out like so. Take another finger if you know I have like that orange, and obviously the orange will pull down into that yellow, and if you want to keep that yellow pretty pure, you can just start in the center and then just smudge it on out like so. So that's the other way, is you can smudge it. All right, now next up is you can actually paint with it. So you can do this a couple different ways. You can take a paintbrush and just start to move it all over this, or you can take some water, put some water down like I did, and just start to brush it out. Ooh, I have some purple on that, I think. Let me switch over my brush to something that does not have color on it. I think that this one might be free of color. Yeah, so you can just take and just move it around with that color, just like so. All right, so that's something else you can do. And by doing this way too, depending on how much water you have on your brush, you can get some pretty fun textures going on in there, which is super fun. So that's the other way. So direct, smudge, paint. Let me get this dry, and then we'll go on to the other 2 ways. And I'm going to use just my heated tool to dry this. And what it does is it allows for an even dispense of the air. And then whenever you're drying, always make sure you flip it over and just do the back side. The paper that I'm using today is just a basic, I think it's like maybe an 80-pound cardstock. It's not super heavy, that I've just cut into a tag. So I want it dry just so you can see the next technique that we're gonna do. And this is nice. I've said this before in some of my other videos. I particularly like this, this sometimes over an embossing gun, because the embossing gun, the air comes out so thin and narrow that it can blow sometimes your patterns around. Not like it was a big deal on that, but you know. All right, so I want to just make sure that I get this pretty well cleaned off here. All right, so for the next thing we're gonna do, we're actually going to stamp it with it. So this is fun. I'm just using a piece of cardboard from my stash that I have, and I'm going to take this color, which is, I think it's bubblegum. It is a bright bubblegum. And I'm just going to go all over like that. And then I think I'm going to take some of this, let's do this orange soda, and just go over some of the area like that, like so. All right. And then I'm going to take, because I want to water, it has to stamp, so it needs to have something to make it move. So I'm going to take and just put my water over it like so. And then let's flip it over onto my tag. Give it a nice push. This would work with a rubber mount stamp as well. And then you get that fun lines there. And you can just really create some really cool texture and whatnot on that. So that is the other way that you can use this. And then finally, the last way, which I don't think a lot of people really know about, is you can actually make this, put it into your spray. Yes, 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 you can. So what you can do is you just want to take, this might hurt you a little bit. I don't like to do this all the time, but sometimes it's fun. You can take and just cut off a little bit, like shave off a little bit with your, you know, whatever this Dumaflunky is. You know me and my words. So just take, and you're just gonna really take it and cut into it. You wanna, definitely want to cut into it, make a whole bunch of small little pieces. So I'm just going to take, and I'm just really, see how I'm just really making sure that I'm chopping it up. And this is just going to make, when it goes into my bottle, so much easier to liquefy, because it is a water soluble medium that you have here. All right, so I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to take this and put it on in here with my fingers if I have to. This is the hardest part of the whole process. You could technically just take this off and just throw it in here without chopping it up, but I like to chop it up because it just shakes up and it dissolves into the water better than if I didn't. So that's why I like to do that, but you can do whatever you want. Now with this certain technique, you guys, whatever spray you're not going to use really soon, you definitely want to make sure that you empty this out, because I have discovered that this one technique does cause this to end up clogging your mist. So be careful with that, all right? And depending on how much gelato you put in here will depend on how vibrant your pigment is. So as you can tell, that pretty much is getting it all dissolved. So I'm just shaking, making sure I'm getting it. And I made a lot, really, for my tag. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot for that tag. So let's see here, how we doing? All right, so let's see if we can spray this off and get some color going. Yeah, so, and then you just spray it off and you will get that color. And it is there, it's very light, so just keep that in mind. But there is some great purple undertone to it. So I'm gonna dry this and then I'm going to spray it again so that you can see it. So I did add a little bit more. There you go, now you can see it. And voila. There's some really pretty purple on top of that. One thing you want to keep in mind is, since gelato is a water soluble medium, it will mix with other colors. So purple, really, with orange and yellow is probably going to make some mud if you move it around too much. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to respect your color families. And what I mean by that is you're going to want to keep your warms, which are anything that's related to fire or think of heat. These colors all relate to that. Keep those together and you'll be safe. And then keep your cools, things that remind you of the water and the ocean and the sea and things that cool you down, like these colors all together, and you will be good to go. You will be able to make beautiful backgrounds, beautiful pieces of art, and you can do it all with a gelato, just like that whole tag was made. All I need now on this is a sentiment. Something else that you can do is you could totally write. So you could write hi on this, or hello, or thanks, or whatever, if you have really cool penmanship. I do not have good penmanship, and I do not feel good about mine, or else I probably would do that. All right, you guys, I hope you have a really great day. Until next time, I'm Betsy Golden. Happy crafting.